Okay. Now, with everything we just discussed about fake stuff, this is tragically real. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. A little disclaimer I like to give. This is just a fun segment. Wacky and fun. And Bobby is a really strange guy. We just did a segment debunking some of his lies about vaccines and about how much he's cutting from different medical research and him lying about that. So that's what's important. That's important. He has this position of power, and what's relevant is what is he doing in that position of power. This is more of a tabloid segment, okay? Which is something we've been keeping up with just for the heck of it, because he's kind of a bizarre character in a lot of ways. So it makes it even more riveting. Is that the journalist Olivia Nuzzi, who was working at New York Magazine and covering Trump's Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s presidential campaign, but then had to leave or got fired because it came out that she was having a digital affair with Bobby. So that's something you would need to disclose if you're purporting to do journalism on someone that you have personal ties with, right? So that was kind of a scandal. And then later, now she's divulging some of the information about that digital affair with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And then her ex-fiance came out and said, well, I know a lot of stuff too, because we were together when this was going on. So it was a double affair. He was affairing, she was affairing. And cheating is the word, not affairing. And he just dropped the grossest bomb about a poem, or as some people call it, a poem, that he wrote to Olivia, journalist. He's running his presidential campaign, and they're digitally sexting. That we have triple confirmed to be what he actually is alleging. I say that because I did fall for a fake excerpt from her book, which was raunchy. This is raunchier than the fake excerpt. Just for our bonus show listeners who know what I'm talking about, click the join button below. This is raunchier than that. Get ready. You're going to want to barf. If you're like a kid, stop watching this. This is not for you. If you have kids in the room, get them out. Before we get to that latest update, if you missed some of this, here's just kind of some of what was coming out of the Olivia Nuzzi writings. And it wasn't super raunchy, but kind of funny. And then we'll get to what he wrote her that is nauseating, some say. And you have headlines like this: RFK Jr.'s digital lover reveals the truth about his brainworm. And let me just read you one excerpt that made me and many others have a chuckle, okay? I did not like to think, Olivia writes, about it, just as later I would not like to think about the worm in his brain that other people found so funny. I loved his brain. I hated the idea of an intruder therein. An intruder. Others thought he was a madman. He was not quite mad the way they thought, but I loved the private ways that he was mad. I loved that he was insatiable in all ways, as if he would swallow up the whole world just to know better if he could. He made me laugh, but I winced when he joked about the worm. Baby, don't worry, he said. It's not a worm. A doctor he trusted had reviewed the scans of his brain obtained by the New York Times, he said, and concluded that the shadowy figure was likely not a parasite at all. He sighed. It was too late to interfere with what had already vaulted from the sphere of meme to the sphere of screwy legend, but at least I did not have to worry about the worm that was not a worm in his brain. Well, then why did he use that parasite? There's Olivia Nuzzi. Why did he use, I'll ask you, that in his divorce proceedings to try to argue that his earning potential had been decreased by the intruder therein? Olivia. He's lying at some point. If he's telling you, no, it wasn't really there, and he's telling the courts, it is there, so I can't make as much money now, then he's lying. So there's that. It's kind of like, okay, whatever. Yeah, it's interesting, but it's funny, the intruder therein, talking about a parasite, a worm or something, and not wanting his beautiful brain to be munched on like oceans, like whales throughout the ocean, as Trump would say. But then you have this. Nuzzi X reveals super gross RFK love letter taught him meaning of sexual slang term. So Bobby, if you're not familiar, this is Bobby. Hi, Bobby. Weird guy, strange guy. And he uses terms that even I didn't, Cole didn't, called Jaden. Do you know this? And Ryan Lizza, who's the ex-fiance of Olivia Nuzzi and also a journalist, also hadn't heard this before. So he started releasing, hey, here's some stuff that I know about this alleged affair that Kennedy's denying, but he's like the king of affairs, so it's kind of a weak denial. And here's what he wrote, allegedly, to Olivia Nuzzi. Click the subscribe button. I need to get that out of the way. Click the subscribe button if you appreciate the show. I don't know why in this segment, but please do. And I should do it in his voice. Do we say? Okay. Your open mouth, awaiting my harvest. Drink from me, love. I mean to squeeze your cheeks, to force open your mouth. I'll hold your nose as you look up at me, to encourage you to swallow. Don't spill a drop. I am a river. You are my canyon. I mean to flow through you. I mean to subdue and tame you, my love. Could you hear it? The words? Okay. So this was titled American Canyon. Okay. So he's married, and with a journalist who's covering him in his presidential race, this is what he's writing to her. According to Lizza, there were many poems, but most are too explicit to share. He called the one poem he referred to as American Canyon and said he learned the term felching through the poetry. Thanks to Bobby, I'm now aware, this is ex-fiancé writing, of something called felching, the act of, I guess I'll read it, sucking or licking ejaculate out of someone's anus. So that's what that means. And then we'll get to a different bombshell. You can take that down. I don't want to spoil it. Of Nuzzi being afraid for her life because of Bobby. What? That's crazy. So I put it up on screen. If you couldn't hear through my impression, you can go read it. I can't read it again, though, in my normal voice. I don't want my normal voice out there having read that paragraph, you know? I just don't think that's good for me, good for you. I think some of the creeps who might watch might use that strange voice. I don't think that's good for anybody. And so I'm not going to read it any further, but it was very raunchy. It was very raunchy. And I didn't need to learn about felching. Before the will Bobby kill me part of this that Lizza is revealing, not to be mistaken with Lizzo, but another flashback from our bonus show about a thought that was occurring to me about this whole Bobby Nuzzi affair. And then this is what I was going to say before. I find it a little bit weird, the idea of an affair that's purely virtual. You know what I mean? You're doing an affair. That's an affair. He was saying, I love you and I want to give you my baby. Like, not give you a baby, but like put my baby, make a baby in you type of language. And that's like cheating, emotional cheating. And sexting, they had a sexting relationship and it was cheating. Why? For what? This whole thing, I've heard other people do this too. They're in a relationship. Cheating in general is bad, but there's also a lack of logic to cheating in a way that seems so insignificant. Significant in its violation to your commitment to your significant other. Insignificant in the pleasure you're getting from it. But what I was referencing was I've heard that will be with someone and then their partner will find a bunch of nudes from other people that they never interacted with in person, but they've been sexting with. Guys, the internet has all of the nudes already. You know what I mean? Like, not that that's necessarily good. There are definitely plenty of research about the damage of porn and stuff, but it's all there. So it's kind of weird to cheat and engage in sexual relationships with people outside of your relationship when all it's going to be is sexting. You're risking blowing up your relationship for an image that Grok could make you. You know? Not that I've ever tried that. I haven't. But do you hear what I'm saying? No one should cheat, but I see how they get into a heat of a moment and they start making out with someone in a place. And it's like the physical intimacy is worth the risk of blowing up the relationship or breaking the heart or violating the commitment to the significant other. But you're doing all that just so you cannot get her to write a book about sending you butt pics. Seems it does. I mean, thank you. Good point. It does seem strange. Thank you, Luke. It does seem strange. The butt was a reference to the thing I fell for that I realized was fake news. This is not. I don't know if Liz is being correct about what Nuzzi and if he actually saw this poem, but it is actually being reported and alleged in actual outlets. Whereas this other one was just a fake screenshot someone made that was very funny, admittedly. I just wish they would have put satire on it. This one's real. So all of it for a digital affair confuses me. But I guess she started really getting... it wasn't casual. She's alleging it wasn't casual. It was like where we are going to run away together type of energy. Now, Bobby's denying this, okay? And I get why he would. He has a bad track record. His wife is also denying this, Cheryl Hines, and saying that Nuzzi's a liar. But then now you also have her ex-fiance substantiating it, but also he's contradicting some of what she's saying. So there's a lot of denials going around. As an investigator myself, I don't know about all the claims that are being made. I don't know if they had a conversation where Bobby lied or denied having a brainworm despite saying that he did. But what I do know is there's one person on the planet who would say your open mouth is awaiting my harvest. And that's Robert F. Kennedy Jr. No one says my harvest. Who on planet Earth says, are you ready for my harvest? Who says that, Cole? Who? Bobby. So if Lizzo were to be lying, he wouldn't have so perfectly created a fake poem that sounds exactly like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Because only he would say, await my harvest, my dear. Do you have a response to this, Robert? What? He wants to talk. What do you have to say about this, Bobby?
Or who are collecting who are collecting social security, or collecting workers' compensation.
Yeah, I don't know. That didn't feel like a compelling denial. Okay, so then more from Liz. Now, I always like to add all the proper caveats. I want you all to know what I know and what I don't know and what I do care about, what I don't, and what I haven't looked into. Okay, there's certain things I need to dedicate a lot of time to in preparation for the show, and that's the important stuff. When we get to something I just see as a more lighthearted story, I sometimes dedicate less time. So if there's like a big debate going on over what, I don't even know if Nuzzi's alleging like wrongdoing or who's saying who's lying and how the ex-fiance plays in this. What's his deal? Has he ever used harvest in that context? Like, I don't know a lot of those things. So if there's like a big debate about the role of the woman and the man, and I don't know about it. I just don't know. I've previously discussed stories and forgotten to specify that clearly enough. Because sometimes there's the story and then there's this whole undercurrent of a debate about what this means about journalism and exploitation. I don't know if it's gone there, and if it has, then, eventually I'll see it pop up somewhere and I'll maybe talk about it. But right now it's just Bobby's a weird guy. That's the story for me, okay? Bobby's a weird guy. And I think that shows up in him lying on issues that will get people killed in public health, and he's the HHS secretary. But in this case, it's just, he used the word harvest. That's weird. I think that in and of itself should be a disqualification to be the HHS secretary. That's my stance. That should disqualify you. I'm not saying I'm against people writing kinky poems to each other. Poem away. That's actually kind of cute. I mean, not cheating is wrong, so don't do it in that context. But like, if you're one of those people who writes really raunchy sex to your partner, have at it. I'm just taking issue with that word. No, and just how, he's saying grabbing. It just all, okay. I can't get too specific. Then this YouTube video will be showing up in a different part of the internet, if you catch my drift. Here's the next part that the ex-fiancée, Liza, wrote. Olivia had written a tabloid-style news story about how sources in Washington, D.C. and Charleston have been buzzing recently about an unexpected romance, Mark Sanford and Olivia Nuzzi, who was described as one of the most famous political reporters in America. That wasn't true. A blonde beauty who gained critical acclaim as a skilled profile writer, gaining access to the powerful, mysterious, and turning it into pure journalistic gold. Olivia told me she wrote the fake article, as an exercise to think through what might be the worst that could be said publicly if the affair became known. Though that didn't really make sense to me given the piece's tone. Her fantasizing about what it would be like when her secret relationship with a notorious politician finally became public would repeat itself during her affair with Bobby. So I guess he's accusing her of writing a fake article to like soft launch and get a sense of what the reaction would be if her real, writing about a fake affair to see if her real affair, what the reaction would be. Then he says she seemed paralyzed with fear, and I frankly didn't understand why. The journalist claimed Kennedy had demanded total submission and discipline, and Nuzzi revealed weeks later why she was afraid of Liza telling the truth. If anyone ever finds out, Nuzzi allegedly said, I'm afraid Bobby will kill me. Yikes. So that's what's happening. That's what's being alleged. What is my take supposed to be? Wow. I mean, that's scary. I don't know. Because why is it scary? Oh, because he's getting killed. Yeah, obviously. But because imagine Robert F. Kennedy Jr. killing you. This will be your last breath, my dear. You won't be able to get my harvest anymore. I don't think he didn't kill her. She's alive. So, you know what? Credit to Bobby. He didn't do anything, it seems. But that is scary to believe that. And then this is a question I have then. I guess it doesn't really apply to me. Think about, I've never thought that there were anything except for attacking my partner, which I would never do, that would cause them to kill me, right? Like I never thought, even though I would never cheat, I never thought if I did, they would kill me. Wait, that's the wrong way. I'm also not, it says something about Robert that she thought that's something he was capable of. That's what I'm trying to argue. I'm curious what things she knows about him. What things has he said? How is he acting? That allegedly she believed this getting public about him would put her life at risk. And also, I don't mean to make her feel bad, but he had dozens and dozens of affairs. And his response to, you remember that that clip of him getting asked, hey, did you like sexually engage in sexual misconduct of some kind? And he responded by being like, well, listen, I was never a schoolboy. Let me pull this up because I don't want to misquote. That's kind of RFK, not school. I was never a RFK. You'll gotta see this because it'll add context to what I'm saying. Here, let's see. Here we go. It's
Vanity Fair came out with a major profile today. I want to give you a chance to respond to this. There's a photo circulating, I believe, of you posing with what looks like a dog, and also a barbecued dog. I'm not going to show the picture as a dog lover. I know you have pets yourself, and also a sexual assault allegation from one of your former nannies. So I want to give you a chance to respond to that.
Yeah. Sorry. The article is a lot of garbage. The picture that they said is of me eating a dog. It's actually me eating a goat in Patagonia on a whitewater trip many years ago on the Fuleifu River. They say there's an expert. They have an expert that has identified that as a dog carcass.
Yeah,
it's just not true. So, and in terms of the other allegations, I've said this from the beginning. I am not a church boy.
I said church boy. I mean church boy.
I've said this from the beginning. I am not a church boy. I am not running like that. I had a very, very rambunctious youth. I said in my announcement speech that I have so many skeletons in my closet that if they could all vote, I could run for king of the world. Mm-hmm. So, this Vanity Fair is recycling 30-year-old stories, and I'm not, going to comment on the details of any of them, but I am who I am.
You're talking.
So you see what I mean? That's not really a denial. It doesn't feel like a denial to say, well, listen, I wasn't a church boy. I've had a rambunctious youth. So all of that came out about him. I guess my point is, Olivia, I don't think that this would be the thing he would kill over. Now, has he killed before? Now we had to go there, right? How many people? Are those skeletons actual skeletons? And not just metaphorical ones? See, there's all these questions that we need to get answered now. And then I'll take you to one other thought on the bonus show I had when covering the first round of this news, which is why are so many people, or in this case, a person, blowing up their careers, not for a person, not for a guy, for specifically this guy. This guy. And then we have to say it, don't we? Pull up Robert F. Kennedy Jr. working out. What's the deal? He had reportedly dozens of people on his phone that were labeled like mistresses, which is a very outdated term. But what's the draw?
Many of them came numerous times. Everybody's coming.
Ladies in the audience, can you please help me understand? Why am I saying that? I guess I could help understand, but I can't. That's just not it. I mean, he's fit in general. You don't have to do that, Jaden. I don't need it. You can just do his face. But his whole vibe, now we're being silly. You don't have to do shirtless. Never mind. It's just funny. His whole vibe is just, I've never found it very attractive, but apparently a lot of people find it very attractive.
I started doing heroin when I went to the top of my class.
Okay, you all right, Jane. Thank you. All right. Okay, all right. Hi, members. Welcome to the bonus show. Thank you for being here. That was the intro. You got to get the bonus show. That's just a little taste. It's just unleashed. Click the join button below to do so. Did I say click the subscribe button? Darn. Did I? I can't remember. I did? Oh, I did. Okay, never mind. So why him? Why him? Oh, he's a Kennedy. But he's him, specifically. He is him, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. I don't need to do all the things, all the jokes. You know him well at this point. And that's one of the more discombobulating parts of this whole story. So there it is, Bobby's poem. He writes poems. I'm trying to think of a harvest joke. And the crops are ready for harvest. Yeah.